Hello and welcome to BBM 206 Principles of Finance. This is an introductory course in finance. Previously, you have covered the courses in accounting, specifically Principles of Accounting 1, Principles of Accounting 2, and a bit of programming. So we will borrow a few concepts from the few courses that you have covered that were prerequisites. And just as an introduction, Principles of Finance is a foundational course for those students who will be majoring in finance in the future. And even those who will not be majoring in finance, it is a good foundation to help you understand finance issues, because in every organization, finance is very, very central. Finance is very, very central. So today I want us to look at the course outline. So this is the course, BBM 206, Principles of Finance. My name is Dr. John Karuida. I'll be taking you through this course in this semester. So we are going to start by looking at the introduction to finance, what finance is, the definition, how it relates to accounting, economics, statistics, the scope and objectives of finance, and the roles of a finance manager. What does a finance manager do on a day-to-day basis? In the second chapter, we will look at the overview of the financial system, because finance is a system that comprises of several components, including the financial intermediaries like banks, commercial banks, insurance companies, pension funds, and so on. It also consists of financial markets. Think of the markets that we have around here, the foreign exchange market, the organized markets like the Nairobi Securities Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, and the others. It also consists of financial assets. Financial assets are those assets that we buy and sell, the assets that we trade in financial markets. They include things like money. For example, when you walk into a foreign exchange bureau, you can exchange your Kenya shillings into Uganda shillings. You can exchange your Kenya shillings into dollars. That is an example of a financial market called a foreign exchange market. You can also buy stocks. For example, if you want to buy, currently we are talking about the IPO of Kenya Pipeline Company. You can buy shares there at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And on the other hand, we have financial regulators. These are mainly government agencies that regulate the financial system, like the Central Bank of Kenya, like the Insurance Regulatory Authority, like the Retirement Benefits Authority, Capital Markets Authority, and many others that we are going to be looking at. We are also going to look at the functions of the financial system. In the next chapter, we are going to look at the forms of business organization. This should be a course that you have covered in probably Principles of Management, BBM 104. But we are going to have a look at it, specifically the three most common forms of business organization: sole proprietorship, partnership, and companies. Next, we are going to delve into the sources of finance. Where do businesses generate their finance, which is a major challenge for many individuals. You may have had an idea, I could do this, I could do that, but finance is a problem. So where do businesses source finance from? We are going to look at financial intermediaries. These are simply go-betweens. Think of a financial intermediary as where you go and deposit your money. Then that money is loaned out to other people. The way we do with banks, you deposit your money into the bank. The bank is not going to stay with that money there. It is going to loan it out to others. So we are going to look at the various types of financial intermediaries: commercial banks, microfinance institutions, investment banks, and so on and so on. Next, we are going to look at financial markets. Like we said, financial markets, we can define it as any physical or virtual location where we trade in financial assets. Financial assets are, like I mentioned, things like money, that is foreign exchange, stocks, things like debentures or bonds. So we buy them in various types of financial markets. In Kenya, the best known is the Nairobi Securities Exchange, but we do have many other markets. For example, the foreign exchange usually trades in over-the-counter markets, and we have other organized stock markets beyond the Nairobi Securities Exchange, like the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the Cairo and Alexandria Stock Exchange. Globally, we have the New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, and the others. And we are going to also look at the functions of those financial markets. Next, we are going to look at the issues of shares and bonds. Here we are going to look at the various ways of issuing shares and bonds. We are going to see something like the initial public offering, like what we have happening now by Kenya Pipeline. We describe it as an initial public offer. Then we have how to issue debentures, the idea of public issues versus private placements, and the factors influencing the choice of issuing of shares and bonds. Next, we are going to look at the time value of money. So we are going to see how to compute the present value of money, the future value. Then we are going to delve into some common terminologies like annuities and perpetuities, and how to get the present and future values where applicable. Lastly, we will look at the international financial system. Remember, in Kenya we don't operate in a vacuum. We do a lot of foreign trade with other countries, and the international financial system is the one that underpins the international the trade that we do. Because of the international financial system, we are able to exchange our Kenya shillings into other currencies. And you have heard of Kenya borrowing money from institutions like the World Bank to fund its operations, and the Africa Development Bank and the others. So we are going to see how the international financial system works in a nutshell, because in the future you have a whole course on international finance where you are going to cover these topics in details. And these are the books that I would expect you to have a look at. The Principles of Finance by Breary and Myers. These three books are available in the library, quite a number of copies, and they are also available on the virtual library. So please have a look at these books. All the three, I'm sure they are available in the library. I may not be sure about the edition, but in the virtual library you are likely to find the latest edition of all the three books. So please have a look at that, and let's meet in the next topic, where we are going to look at the introduction to finance. Thank you very much, and let's meet in the next lecture.